Hey y'all, welcome to our show. My name is Portia.
I'm Charles. What's up, y'all?
And together we are Saint Oshun. So, Charles, what we going to talk about today?
Well, somebody slid into our DMs and asked us this question. It's a heavy one. What is your biggest fear as an artist? And I feel like this episode, we're going to have to cut in cartoons every 30 seconds because it's either that or everyone's just going to cry. So my biggest fear as an artist is being irrelevant. What I mean by that is easily able to be ignored. You can easily ignore me as an artist. And that fear comes from a million different places. It can be because the songs aren't good enough. It can be because they're not modern sounding enough. The melodies aren't good enough. The lyrics aren't good enough. I'm not a good enough singer. I'm not a good enough performer. And I think that's a very common fear for many artists. And I think what most artists do is, I shouldn't say most, many artists, especially when they first start, is the way that they try and conquer that fear is they try and pander. They try and do what's trending right now, or worse, they try and write things that they believe other people want to hear. I don't think that's what attracts people to art. What I am attracted to is authenticity. What I'm attracted to is when an artist actually says something about themselves. I say this all the time, actually. This is one of my biggest criticisms of a lot of artists. Many artists can write a catchy song, but can you tell a story? Because ultimately, that's what we remember. That's what we take away. That's what we connect with. When you think about the songs that you remember long term, there probably are two things that happen. Number one, you connected to that story in that song with a story of your own. And or number two, you had a particular event to happen to you when that song was played. And what that does is it then connects the other person, the artist, to you. And as artists as well, of course, we also need to be authentic in our social media and all of that. But the biggest fear for many artists is I can't do that. I can't show them my real self because they'll think I'm too goofy, I'm too weird, I'm too stupid, I'm too smart, I'm too whatever. And in all reality, what we admire most is when artists do that. When we see Doja Cat, great example. She's goofy, she's weird, she does different stuff. And that's what makes her Doja Cat. And so when you are authentic, it's counterintuitive, but when you're authentic, you don't have to worry about being irrelevant. The only thing you have to understand is you're not going to be for everyone, but nobody is for everyone. My story, where I come from, middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, where Portia comes from, Columbus, Ohio, two very different experiences. And people might not connect with me because of where I come from or my beliefs or my experiences. Same thing with connecting with Portia. But some people will when we're authentic. So it's scary. I'll be the number one person to say that's scary to be authentic, just as scary as it is to be irrelevant. But I have to overcome being scared of being authentic. Otherwise, I will be, ironically, irrelevant.
So are you afraid of being authentic and showing your true self? Or are you afraid, because that's two different things, or are you afraid of being irrelevant?
Yes. I don't think that they're exclusive. I think that when you're afraid of being irrelevant, it often motivates you to be inauthentic. And so I have to fight against that because the part of me that's like, you have to be relevant, you have to be relevant. So you have to make sure that you have all of these trending words in the song, and you have to make sure that all the melodies sound super up to date. All of those things are great. If you're listening to modern music, it's going to influence you for sure. But you can't write from that place because it's inauthentic. You're trying to force something out of you instead of telling the story that is within you or is a story that you want to tell. Does that make sense?
I mean, sure. It reminds me of an interview I just saw. It was a quick, real short. I saw Lady Gaga, and she just had some words of wisdom for any artist. She's like, just be yourself. Don't get caught up in the trends.
You always have to be yourself. When you really listen to your gut and you really be true to who you are, this is when the light that we're all made of, this is when it really shines.
Because listen, nobody wants to hear another Drake. They'll just play Drake. Why would they? Correct. What is his name? Kingpin?
Kingpin, that's right.
Kingpin said that. The podcast is called, shout out to Cheat Code. Kingpin, Wendy Day, and Ferrari Rari. I think that's their names. I'm so new. Anyway, check it out. It's one of our favorite podcasts at this. Well, whatever. Check it out. But he's often said in a few podcasts that if a radio DJ or even a DJ at a big party, if you're running around saying, I sound like Doja Cat, and you literally make your record sound like Doja Cat, they're going to be like, why don't we just play Doja Cat? What are we doing? Like, why would we want to play this unknown artist that claims to sound like Doja Cat? Why don't you just sound like Saint Oshun? Don't really wanna love you, but I do. Don't really wanna trust you, but I do. Because there will never be another Portia. There'll never be another Charles. So why don't we just sound like that? Right? So it reminds me of that. So just making sure that you're authentic to what you would do. And if you're trying to follow a trend, does the trend actually speak to you? Like that's my take on it.
This isn't really just about music. It's about just embracing and loving yourself. Because when you think about who you admire the most, you admire those people that are being themselves because they're brave enough to be themselves. Those people who step out in and come out of the closet because they're gay, we admire those people because they don't know how some of their family might react. The people who come out and say, you know what, I thought I wanted to be a teacher, but I really want to be a musician. That's a scary step because a lot of people are going to look at you and be like, the hell? Where did this come from? You're a grown-ass man. Like, what? Why would you do that?
Now go on, sit down somewhere.
So at the same time, we admire them because they're taking a leap of faith. They're taking a step of faith and saying, this is who I am. And you can love me, you can hate me. But ultimately, we all admire them a little bit and we respect them a little bit because they're living in a truth that many of us are afraid to live in. On that note, if you guys like what you heard, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, ring the bell, and let us know if there are other topics. Hopefully you can ask us some topics that are going to make everybody laugh and not be so heavy. We promise we are not going to do for every one heavy episode. We'll do 3 fun ones so you guys don't think, oh my gosh, every time I watch those guys, they're so heavy.
If you'd like to check out the music videos that we mentioned in this video, you can find the links to those in the description below. Comment below if you want to see more content like this. And we'll see you guys in the next video.